Welcome back to another edition of Dave Smith Unleashed. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube page, Dave Smith Unleashed. And we love hearing from you. We love reading your comments. We also love reading your comments on my Twitter page, @DaveSportsGuy. All right, I think the time has come here. I want to name the 5 greatest Lakers teams of all time. Now, this, of course, is going to cause a lot of debate. This, of course, is going to cause a lot of argument. You're going to tell me I'm an idiot. You're going to tell me I'm an a-hole. You're going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. You're going to tell me the order's wrong. Well, it's my list, and if you don't like it, if you want to comment, go to the YouTube page at Dave Smith Unleashed, brought to you by MTS Transportations. And mention the Dave Smith Unleashed podcast and get 20% off on your next shipment for all your shipping, trucking, and freight needs. There's only one business to call, and that's MTS Transportations at 800-640-6873. MTS Transportations, 800-640-6873. All right, without further ado, let's get to number 5, the 5th greatest Lakers team of all time. I'm going to go to the 1999-2000 Lakers team, the first one with Phil Jackson as the head coach. And in large part because that's the only year that Shaq was in L.A. that he got into great shape. Remember, he got down to around 310, 315. He was fantastic that year. He was the league MVP. He actually played defense. He actually rebounded. He actually gave an effort on the defensive end of the floor. He wasn't 40 pounds overweight. Dominant, unstoppable. The Lakers beat the Pacers in 6 games. And, of course, Kobe Bryant in 2000 was coming into his own as one of the all-time greatest NBA players in his 4th year. So, that was a great team. And, of course, Phil, the greatest coach in the history of the National Basketball Association. No coincidence. You know, the Lakers actually had more talent the couple of years before Phil got there. But he won championship, and then he won 3 in a row. The greatest coach in NBA history. There's never been anybody better at getting superstars to buy into his system and play together and play unselfishly than Phil Jackson. So, the 99-2000 Lakers team, number 5. Number 4. I'm going to go 87. That was the first year of the Lakers back-to-back. They beat the Boston Celtics again after beating them in 1985. And can we ever forget the James Worthy diving on the left sideline play, saving the ball inbounds, swatting it forward as the Lakers beat the hated Larry Bird-led Boston Celtics in 6 in 1987. So the 86-87 Lakers team, Kareem getting a little bit old then. He was close to 40 years old, not what he used to be. Magic still in his prime. MVP Magic. James Worthy, Hall of Fame caliber, still in his prime. Byron Scott at that point had developed into a very, very good NBA player, all-star caliber. So that was a hell of a good team. And a lot of people think 87 was the greatest Lakers team of all time. I think even Pat Riley says that. So I'm going to go with the 1986-87 Lakers as the 4th best team of all time. All right, hit the drum roll, please. The 3rd best Lakers team of all time. Well, I've said in the past, I think this might be the best Lakers team I've ever seen. And there's a reason I'm putting them at number 3, and I'll tell you why as we move forward with this. But number 3, I'm going with the 1981-82 Lakers. Remember, they won the championship in 1980 when Magic was a rookie without Kareem on the court, when Magic went 42-15-7 in Game 6 when they won in Philadelphia, when Magic actually played center. One of the greatest performances, maybe the greatest performance in NBA Finals history, certainly in a closeout game, as the Lakers won in 80. But the 82 team, that was one hell of a good team. Magic at this point was an even better player than he was in 80. He was 3 years in the league now. He was the dominant player in the National Basketball Association, in my opinion. Kareem still in his prime, but still a young Kareem at 82. I think he was in his early 30s. And yes, James Worthy wasn't there yet, but come on. Jamal Wilkes, Hall of Famer, all-star, one of the great Lakers of all time. I think he's got his number up on the rafters, doesn't he, at the Staples Center? So Jamal Wilkes, maybe not quite as good as James Worthy, but not too far off. He was a great player. So Jamal Wilkes, and let's not forget, Norm Nixon in the backcourt. And I will die on this hill for the rest of my life. Norm Nixon was a better player than Byron Scott. Much better player, in my opinion. He was the best point guard in the NBA before Magic got there. Norm Nixon was one great player. He defended, he assisted, he could score. He was the quickest player in the league. His end-line to end-line speed was unbelievable. He was better than Byron Scott. So I think for that reason, the 81-82 Lakers team is number 3. And they beat Philly in 6, just like they did in 1980. That was one great team, one of my favorite Lakers teams of all time. All right, let's get to number 2. Now we're getting controversial. I'm going to go 84-85. For this reason, was the 84-85 team as good as the 81-82 team? In my opinion, no. I think the 81-82 team might have been a little bit better, even though James Worthy wasn't on that team. But 84-85, Byron Scott was in his second year in the NBA, still not, a polished frontline all-star caliber NBA player yet in 85. You had James Worthy emerging as a superstar in his third year in the league in 1985. Kareem, well, getting a little up there in 85. How old was he then? Kareem was probably 35, 36, 37 in 1985. But remember, he saved his best for last. He was MVP in the 1984-85 finals. And the reason I'm putting this team number 2, and you can make a great case for number 1, how can you ever forget? How can you ever not note? How can you ever not stress the importance? The Lakers finally broke the Celtics' curse in 84-85. They won Game 6 in Boston Garden on the Celtics' home court in front of that insufferable, arrogant asshole, Red Auerbach. So, and they'd never beaten the Celtics in the finals before. I think they were, 0-6, 0-7, whatever it was, the curse of Jerry West. They finally got off the schneid. They broke the curse. They beat the Celtics in 85. And will we ever forget, if you're old enough to remember, or maybe if you've seen the game on YouTube, Kareem with about a 15 to 18-foot sky hook from the right side on the baseline that put the game away. And Kareem racing down the court. He wasn't the most emotional guy in the world. Kareem was usually stoic. But Kareem is usually a stoic guy. But fists raised in the air, leaping up and down, screaming and yelling. That was so great to see. Kareem celebrating victory in Boston Garden. So that's the number 2 team. The number 1 team of all time. Will this be controversial? Probably. Do I care? No. This was my team. This is the first team I could ever remember seeing as a little guy. The 1971-72 Los Angeles Lakers. What a team. Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest player of all time, Wilt Chamberlain at center. Hall of Famer, arguably top 10 player of all time at point guard, Jerry West. Hall of Famer, shooting guard / point guard, Gail Goodrich. Gail Goodrich led the Lakers in scoring that year. Even with West and Wilt on the team, he averaged 26.7 points per game, and Jerry West averaged 26.6. So Gail led the team in scoring. West was a close second, and Wilt, of course, averaged more than 20 rebounds a game, the dominant defensive player in the NBA, the best rebounder, shot blocker, and defender in the NBA at that point, even with a young Kareem in the league. Oh, that was my team. Oh, boy. And Gail Goodrich, my favorite player growing up. A Hall of Famer, another guy with his number retired up on the rafters at Staples Center. 6 feet tall, Poly High School up in Sun Valley, where I grew up in Sun Valley, California. City champion. Can you imagine winning a city championship at Poly High in Sun Valley? I mean, for all of you who live out in Los Angeles, just thinking that Poly could win a city championship is ridiculous. But they did it with Gail Goodrich at the point guard slot. 2 national championships back-to-back at UCLA. The most outstanding player in the 65 finals when they beat Michigan, and he scored 42 points, and then a great Hall of Fame NBA career. So I love Gail Goodrich. And who doesn't love Jerry West, the logo? One of the great players in NBA history. One of the great Lakers players of all time. How about one of the greatest front office general managers of all time? There's nothing this man couldn't do. Probably, and the logo of the NBA, and probably the most beloved player in Lakers history. I can't imagine anybody. The most important beloved guy in Lakers history is probably Jerry West, although I can make an argument for Bill Sharman as well, but that's an argument for another show. Wilt was great that year. He was 36 years old, and at that point, Wilt wasn't a scorer anymore. I think he averaged about 16, 17 points a game, but he averaged over 20 rebounds, and at that point, he was a defender, a rebounder, and an initiator. He was a great passer. Remember, Wilt led the league in assists one year. A 7'2", so he's the only center ever to lead the league in assists. That's how great, and he was, you could have made a good case for Wilt for MVP that year in 71-72. That's how great he was. He was awesome. And Jerry West, one of the great players of all time, Gail Goodrich. That is arguably the greatest backcourt in the history of the NBA. Now, most would probably say Steph and Klay Thompson. Okay, I get it. Clyde Frazier or Earl Monroe. Yeah, I get that as well. But I'm prejudiced. I'm a Lakers fan. I think West and Goodrich is the best backcourt in the history of the NBA. Although Magic and Norm Nixon, how can you put them second to anybody else? That was my team. Jim McMillan averaged 20 points a game. Remember, Elgin Baylor retired 6 games into the season that year, and the Lakers were 3-3. And they told him he was going to the bench because he couldn't play anymore. He was injured, and he said, I can't handle that. And he retired instead of becoming a bench player. He was replaced by Jim McMillan, who was a perfect fit, averaged 20 points a game. Well, what a great baseline jump shooter. He was deadly from the baseline. And after Elgin retired, the Lakers went on a 33-game winning streak, an all-time professional sports record, 33 consecutive wins, 69-13. At that time, that was the best record in the history of the NBA. They beat Kareem and the Milwaukee Bucks in the Western Conference Finals. They beat the New York Knicks in the finals, a team that they lost to in 1970. And here's the important thing. It was the first Los Angeles championship for the Lakers. They'd won 5 in Minneapolis as the Minneapolis Lakers. But it was the first Los Angeles professional basketball championship, the first NBA championship here, coached by Bill Sharman, assisted by K.C. Jones, Wilt, Goodrich, West, McMillan. How about Happy Hairston averaging double-digit rebounds as well? Flynn Robinson, the great scorer off the bench. Pat Riley was another good player off the bench. Oh, John Q. Trapp, Leroy Ellis, Jim Clemens. I could go on and on and on how much I love that team, how much I love the players on that team. So that's it. What do you think? Give me your comments at the Dave Smith Unleashed podcast. Let me know what you think, or hit me up on Twitter at Dave Sports God. Number 5, 99-2000 Shaq Kobe Lakers. Number 4, 1986-87 Lakers that beat the Celtics for the second time in 3 years. Number 3, 81-82 Lakers. Pretty worthy, but Jamal Wilkes was still a Hall of Famer and a young Kareem and in his prime Magic. Number 2, 84-85. Come on. They broke the curse. They beat the Celtics in Boston Garden. And number 1, my team, my favorite, the greatest Lakers team of all time, the 71-72 Lakers. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk to you again next time right here on Dave Smith Unleashed.